Well, think about all the things you did in order to watch us on TV right now. You walked over to your TV stand. You probably picked up your remote control. Maybe you walked back to your couch or walked to your bed.
But think about this, not being able to walk at all. We take those things for granted. And after this next story, that may all change. Here's sports director Chris Porter.
The 2016-2017 track and field season proved to be a great one for Reigns Vikings track coach Stephen Bellamy. His team won a state and national title, but off the track, Bellamy was in a serious battle with his health. When I interviewed Coach Bellamy back in August, he had not taken a step without assistance or his crutch in months. But because he was so determined to walk on his own again and prove to his players that there's nothing you can't overcome without patience, determination, and faith, the coach decided to do it in the presence of our cameras with his players right there. It proved to be a bold, emotional, and inspiring decision. All right, Coach, you ready to do this?
Yeah, let's go.
Before you move, you feel all right?
I'm good.
For 53-year-old Reigns Vikings track coach Stephen Bellamy, the decision to try and walk without his crutch is risky.
I'm just a little nervous, that's all.
Bellamy is truly walking by faith. Back in March, the coach decided to go to the doctor after he had fallen at track practice several times.
He immediately noticed something was wrong with me. And he pulled out his cell phone and called the emergency room and said, "You need to go to the emergency room now." I'm like, I'm looking at him like, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Something's wrong with you. Something's drastically real wrong with you." I was like, "Okay, doc, you're freaking me out. You're scaring me here."
Following his doctor's orders, Bellamy went to the emergency room, where doctors did an MRI and x-rays. The x-rays revealed Bellamy's C3 and C4 vertebrae had collapsed. They were pressing up against his spine and nerves, which explains why he had been falling in practice. The doctor then asked him to put down his crutch and walk.
Waited on me to walk, and he said, "Can't move my legs." He said, "That's what I was afraid of."
Within days, Bellamy was on the operating table. His doctor told him if he had waited one more week, he would have been paralyzed for life.
I just didn't really know how to handle it.
During that time, what did you think about?
Not again. I couldn't believe this was happening to me again, because I went through paralysis before.
He fought through it. His boys never left his side.
You wouldn't even expect something like this to even happen to him, and for it to happen like it did, it was mind-blowing.
Shortly after the emergency surgery, it was on to 4 weeks of grueling rehab.
I felt strong until it was time to walk. And my mind was saying walk, but my legs were not doing anything.
What made you fight through it?
I didn't want to lose my boys. I just had to get back to them.
And now they're watching their coach take his first steps unassisted.
I'm just used to grabbing and stuff, but this is kind of different the first time I've done it without any assistance.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
What's going through your mind right now?
Man, this is crazy. Just to be to this point right here is just is amazing, man. You just don't understand.
One step at a time, under the watchful eyes of his players.
Kind of gets a little emotional.
I could see Bellamy gaining confidence.
To do it here at Reigns, this is what I love. It's definitely special, especially for these boys right here. So hopefully it's some type of motivation for them, because they were there when I couldn't walk.
To see him just take his first couple steps since February, around that time, it just shows me I can do anything. I shouldn't take nothing for granted.
This is overwhelming right now. I haven't walked this far without being tired in a long time.
You thinking about quitting?
I thought about it back there, but I'm good now. I mean,
what made you keep going?
Talking about it and thinking about it, and I guess the emotion in me right now is kind of
Take your time, Coach.
Man, you don't understand.
What have you learned about yourself from the moment you say you couldn't take a step March 9th to the present when you took many steps coming from the lobby to the weight room?
That God is real, man. I mean, you're looking at a miracle.
Coach Bellamy told me that during his team's state and national championship run, his players would have to carry him to the van and track because of his inability to walk. Now, as he said, this isn't the first time he's had a bout with paralysis. Coach lost use of his right arm after being hit while playing football in high school. Bellamy says his doctors told him he would need about 8 months to make a full recovery, and I'm happy to report 8 months later, Coach is doing well and says he still uses his crutch as a safety precaution.